Hey guys, you're watching Daniel and Gian Talk Shit, episode 102. It is Monday, August 31st, 2020. Rent is due tomorrow for me, not for Daniel.
No.
And thank God, because according to Daniel, according to news that he's heard, them stimulus checks everybody was expecting to get, looks like it ain't happening.
That's why you shouldn't, what's that advice you gave me? Don't spend money that's not in your bank account or something like that.
I don't know what I said. I said a lot of shit, but, just don't spend what tomorrow what you can't spend today, right?
Well, I mean, don't assume that money's there is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly. Really don't. Really don't. A lot of people did, and we're going to see what happens. It's going to be interesting. So you were making it seem like, and we didn't really talk about it. We kind of just, you mentioned it in passing, but I haven't read anything about it. I had a busy weekend. I tried to stay away from stuff that will get me pissed off during the weekend, and I'm sure it was.
You just use that for during the week.
Yeah, I just get pissed off Monday through Friday,
yeah.
And then
you take a break on the weekend.
Take a break on the weekend,
like a good American.
Exactly. All hail the chief or whatever. Hail to the chief. You're implying that this is kind of a play by the Democrats to make the Republicans look bad. Is that what you were inferring? Because I can kind of see that.
I think it's both. I think it's both. It's just constant Vegas right now in Washington. What side's gonna look worse by November? Because if Trump wins in November, then it doesn't really matter. I think.
Right.
Because unless there's a huge shift in the Senate, and then it becomes even more interesting, because now what is Trump going to do except blame Democrats for everything? And what's going to happen there? More conflict,
right.
More tension, more division, more everything.
Yep.
And then in 2024, when there is no Trump, well, I still don't think Trump will have a third term or any of these. Like, I really genuinely believe that's so out of the question, because that's a line that hasn't been crossed in this country since FDR, but before that really hasn't been crossed really at all. I mean, if you look back at all the presidents before, like, there was a 2-term limit, no one really served more than 2 terms. That's kind of probably why it was set that way. And yeah, so imagine a no Trump field. Where does the country even go after that? Like, where do Trump supporters who didn't give a shit about politics before, and now all of a sudden are, you're taking my rights away with my mask, like they know everything. Where do those people go in 2024? What person does the Republican Party produce? And if Trump wins against Biden, which I said last time, I think Joe doesn't have it in the bag, but I think he's the. But it's just like, it's like what Michael Moore's saying right now. Don't get in that Biden camp. Don't assume shit, because Trump is just as popular as he ever was, and I believe that. So I don't know. What do the Democrats do if they don't beat Trump this time? Who the fuck do they send? Because none of the candidates that they presented this time I enjoyed, except Bernie and Tulsi. Like, at first I kind of liked Pete when he was coming out. I know this is off topic, but then you start listening to the people more, and then you really get to see who they are. I mean, you don't really get to see who they are, but you know what I mean. The more you listen to them, the more you say, okay, I don't really like this person, or he's a nice guy, I just don't want him to be the president, or girl, whatever. Zim,
Right.
Whatever.
Both sides are not willing to play ball when it comes to the stimulus and sending out extra money for unemployment and this, that, and the third. Like, it's funny, my sister posted this morning asking people, like, is a 40% pay cut reasonable in these times, because she's having trouble finding a new gig, And
it's basically like, do I want to work for 40% less and at least have a job, or just continue to wait?
Because she doesn't have medical right now, and you can't apply for
Trump care anymore.
Yeah.
This year.
You can't apply until next year, basically. Yeah. I mean, I think that you apply this fall and then you'll get it. It'll roll out in January. But I think she might be on Cobra right now.
I mean, what do you think? Let's tackle that question. What do you think? Because, that's a reality.
See, that's the thing. I
do
look
you
at shit.
accept that rates?
No, I think.
Does everything get cheaper? Does everything get 40%
doesn't.
cheaper? Because if it does, yes, great.
Yeah, I mean, your cost of living. It's not. And I think this is something that people like fail to accept or realize, like when they want to stay in California, and they like somebody gets offered a job to go to another state, and they're like, well, I'm going to lose $10,000 a year, and it's like, well, you're losing 10 G's, but your rent just went down
10,000.
Exactly.
Or more.
Like it all evens out. Like my cousin moved to Arizona and he took a pay cut, but he's like he bought a house and he's still able to pay the mortgage on his other house in California, and he still live and the house he's in now is bigger and he's living comfortably. It's in Tucson, which is trash for other reasons, but
mostly the heat.
But the heat, and then the winter, it's cold and it rains. Like I went there in November, I think, and I was like, wow, it rains in Arizona, because it was coming down. Like they get monsoons there, like crazy weather we don't see here for sure. And they only get it for like those couple months, and then the rest of the year it's super dry and it gets super hot. But then there's no in the winter when it doesn't rain, it's super cold because it's just like thin desert air, But that's another story. But I'm saying that's like one of those things that your cost of living is the most important thing. It doesn't matter how much money you make. So if you take less money than your last job, but you're still living around the same way, I mean, did you really take a loss?
Like right now, I've been taking some. Not every single gig is this way, so I shouldn't say it. I hope it doesn't come off that way. But some of the gigs I've accepted that I'll be working in the next coming days, and have been way less than what I would normally have like even bothered to consider. But considering the fact that I haven't worked in however long, it's almost just like I'd rather make something than just stay in this damn house. Like it comes down to that.
Right.
But the problem is, I don't want to do that to set a precedent where it's like, yeah, I'm willing to do that now because of COVID. Like literally, it's because I haven't done anything. I don't mind hanging out with the people that have contracted me out, friends of film school, friends from work, like whatever that might be, that's fine. And you get paid along with that. But it shouldn't become this new standard, because production.
It's a slippery slope.
Because production costs are going up.
Right.
Real production costs are going up. You need COVID monitors. You need a bunch of things now.
Then explain real production costs.
Well, a real production cost is it probably, I would assume, okay, let me put it to you this way. Anything union is a real production. Anything non-union but high budget could be considered, but really anything union is the big boys, quote unquote. And you're talking about you need to get tested every single week. You need to, and like CBS, I know, like I was just talking to someone on set the other day, and he was explaining every week you get tested at CBS. They perform the test on the lot, though, which is interesting. But he's like, I haven't done anything, and I won't do anything. I don't even leave my house at all over these next 3 months because I don't even want to risk losing this job. Like,
right.
Literally, when he was on set, when it wasn't on the CBS, he was like, mind you, this is someone who wasn't exactly, I'm not saying he was a no mask wearer, nothing like that, totally not this person, but wasn't necessarily taking it the most serious, all the precautions. But this time it was like, you stay the fuck away from me. Make sure you're 6 feet away from me. Where's your mask? Like, because he was serious. He's like, I do not want to risk losing this gig, because you could lose it just like that, and you're out. And they have people on standby. They have people on standby waiting to replace you.
It's a real gig where your checks cash every week, and you don't have to worry about them cashing. You get temporary medical insurance as well. If you're union, I mean,
he's union, so he's getting all of that in a bag of potato chips.
Yeah, he's paying for his good ass health insurance. So I see it goes into his pension as well. It's like a legit gig, because after this one's he doesn't know when his next gig's gonna come as well. Like that's the other part.
After not having anything, and he was one of the people who, when he got He basically was on eggshells at the last few months because he was one of those people who didn't get their aid right away for whatever reason.
Jeez. Yeah.
You know, there's those ones that just literally for whatever reason they just fall through the cracks.
Right.
And so
it just shows the amount of people that weren't working.
Who still aren't working.
Yep.
I mean, there's just whole industries just closed right now. That's what's crazy.
Right.
Like in California, the movie industry is closed. Movie theaters are closed. People get to watch other movies in other states. Literally, I'm like thinking, oh man, do I have to go to another state to watch a movie? Is that like a vacation now? Is that what it's going to be for the next few months? Like, hey, I'm going on vacation.
New Mutants. They opened up a drive-in at the Rose Bowl and they played New Mutants yesterday.
I saw that, but it's not the same. Because when you're driving around a car like mine with some bootleg ass fucking broken speakers, like I might as well just bootleg it at home, watch it on my iPhone.
Well, I think we should go and check it out and see what the difference is. Because it might I don't think you're playing it on your car stereo.
I thought you do.
They might give you back in the day they would give you speakers.
Well, back in the day, they didn't have radios installed in cars, so they gave you like this fucking tin can radio. I know what you're talking about, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. But the last one that I ever went to, you had to tune into a Bluetooth type thing, like an FM channel, and then
Right.
That's the last time I remember doing it. And I don't remember where it was either.
You just got to make sure that your windshield is super fucking clean. All right.
On both sides.
And then you put your windows up.
Do you leave the car on? Blast. Do you leave the car on the whole time?
So that's the thing I need to ask. Because if it's like still 90 degrees outside, fuck you. My windows are going up. And I'm watching with the AC on blast. Fuck, everybody else can do the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll spend that gas.
Because it's just, I don't know. It's just different. And then you got to just stay in your car. Like, my car is not the most comfortable car to sit in for 2 hours or however long New Mutants is. Like, I barely get by just driving to go fucking record or to work.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but it feels like it.
I feel like to really enjoy the drive-in, you need to have a Lincoln Town car.
Yeah, and then at that point, you probably own a fucking theater in your house already.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this will make.
Hey, man, I'm just coming up with ideas, bro. Don't shit on me.
I'm just saying. Maybe this will make home theater experiences cheaper. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the home theater experience just has more to do with having the room to build a home theater.
True. And the money.
Yeah. The money and being able to have like this blacked out room. We were looking at
soundproof room. If you live in Los Angeles, fucking you're gonna hear ghetto birds, children outside, fucking birds.
We looked at this house to rent down the street, and they had a basement because the house was apparently the house was a historical house because it was hella old, but it had a basement, and that basement was gonna be like my little man cave. And it was super hot when we went there, but you go underneath, it's still cool because it's like insulated.
That's
underground.
Where the dwarves live.
Right, exactly. It would have been nice to have that, but you need a setup like that, like a little detached room.
Yeah, it would have been your man cave for about a week or two, and then it would have became something else.
Oh no, I would have put a door because that it was a staircase. It was down there. No one wants to go up and down that staircase.
Yeah, but are you gonna be the only one with the lock to enter that place? Cause
hey, don't mess with me, bro.
Because Maria you might come home one day and.
Hey, we got rejected anyways, so that's fine.
Don't even go down that road.
Yeah, no, I talked enough about it.
I know it'll bring back the triggering memories of what could have been.
Yeah, what could have been. I had dreams.
So I don't know when the relief's gonna come, and if it comes, what form it'll come. Just everything's just all weird right now. Just all of it's just all weird. Because
I just want to see how it plays out in the debates and how they're gonna.
Well, Nancy Pelosi is trying to get the debates off the schedule because we shouldn't be debating right now, which is like me saying, "Bitch," because Joe is gonna die in the debates. Trump will give Joe a heart attack.
I was listening to an NPR podcast about him and like when he was younger, and he's got a temper.
Joe or Trump?
Joe.
Well,
Like
yeah, I'm
you could
sure.
you
I'm
could
sure you
definitely
can.
rattle his ass, and he's always been able to rattle. And he'll just like start saying inappropriate. I mean, he already did, like saying if you don't vote for me, you're not really black.
Yeah, but
You know,
I kind of get why that. I kind of get why he said that. I kind of get it. I'm not gonna lie.
it doesn't matter if he was
It's
right.
it's
It's
like me.
it's
It's like me.
it's the presentation.
It's like me saying, like, when I find out a Mexican's Republican, and I'm like, you know, you're Mexican, right? Like, like, I mean, I'm not saying you're not a real Mexican if you vote Republican, but I'm also not saying that either. So
Right.
I'm just saying there's just certain groups that are just clearly disenfranchised by certain parties, and you know, some call them Uncle Toms, some call them other things. I don't know.
Well, Mexicans will call them fresas.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, mira esta pinche fresa.
I didn't know that. See, you learn something
Yep.
new every day.
Right. Well, I mean,
Unless you're white and wealthy
we've been
Mexican.
recording this shit for 4 years now. Everybody knows that I'm more Mexican than you are. All right.
Most white people are more Mexican than I am. And that is what it is. I mean, most people who go to Chipotle probably know more words of Spanish than I do.
That's hilarious.
You know, a lot has changed in the last few days since we recorded. You know, just editing these podcasts, because I've been taking, like, I want to take at least a day or two to, like, go through them as opposed to just reshoot them and post them the next day.
Right.
We're, like, behind before I even get a chance to, like, finish editing.
Well, to be fair, the first one was like
But
almost
I mean,
3
even
weeks
the
ago.
one the other day, just
Yeah.
with the shooter, the teenage shooter, and all that stuff, like.
But you wanted to talk about that, but for those that just to make you guys aware, we talked about on the last podcast about the shooting that happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and then the kid that got arrested because he shot 2 people. At
Dude,
the
Black
protest.
Panther died since then. Like,
And Black Panther died, and I mean, I feel bad we didn't open up with that. You know, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Dude, that right there. Let's start on a positive note, talking about how Black Panther died. All of a sudden, boom, pops up on Twitter, and I'm like, what? And then I go and I look to verify because it's always like the non-popular sources that break the news first. And then
well,
sure
if
enough,
TMZ says it's real.
oh, no, like I'm saying, people were posting it before TMZ.
Oh, I'm just saying, like when Kobe died, that's how I knew it was real when I saw that TMZ.
Right. And it's 2020 gives 0 fucks, man. They took Kobe. They took T'Challa. Who's next?
Don't say that.
It's like people are fighting over GI Joes.
I didn't even know he had fucking cancer. Like I didn't.
Nobody did.
Like, I knew he looked sickly. I've definitely said it on this podcast before, or at least to other people. But you know, it's like you were telling me. Like, I had no idea people were calling him crackhead or whatever they were, like whatever Crack Panther. Like, but it just goes to show you. I mean, honestly, it kind of just goes to show you how like he is as a person. I wonder what that was like that made him decide I'm not gonna say anything. If it was like a money thing, like, hey, I might die from this. Let me just make as much money. I'm only gonna tell my family, and that's it, really.
I gotta like give it up to his team, his squad, because nobody leaked anything about it. We had no idea. Like, how often? When does that happen? You know what I mean? I think.
How do you hide going to fucking chemo?
Right. I mean, it seemed his team was up there with like Leo DiCaprio's team, because we never hear nothing about Leo DiCaprio either.
It was the same team.
Yeah, it might be the same team. You got to pay a little bit extra. Hey, I don't want anybody to know I have cancer other than like the people signing my paychecks.
Well, I mean, maybe he did like the dude from Spartacus, Andy Whitfield, or I forget his name.
Yeah,
like
I think it's Andy Whitfield.
They were filming a documentary during that whole thing too. I couldn't watch it. I started watching. I'm like, man, I'm not about to watch this guy die like for the next 90 minutes. Which apparently that's
depressing, man.
Kind of what it was, and I felt bad too because I liked that show a lot.
Oh, yeah, I remember you because it was going on when we were at SC together.
Yep. And it was like stupid, like fucking gore sex show, but it was cool. It was different. It was. I mean, I don't know, but it's the same thing with this. Like, his career was just starting. I mean, Really, he's Black Panther, which is why everyone calls him Black Panther. My mom even texted like Black Panther died. Like that's how people know him. That's his role. Um,
He was starting to become a star, for
yeah,
sure. And it's crazy. Like what tripped me out more than anything was when I found out he was only 43, or he not only 43, but he was already 43. And I bring that up because it's like it just shows how long it takes most actors to make it.
it just goes to show you why most don't.
Right, exactly. Because like if they don't hit it by a certain age, they quit.
Yeah,
Because they're scared of life and they want to go get a regular 9 to 5 and have a family, and that's fine. That's fine. It's a tough business for sure.
I liked him as Jackie Robinson stuff. I always felt like he was that bit player, and he finally got his shot.
Yeah,
That's how he was always portrayed, as like that bit player. Just that he filled that role, kind of like how Anthony Mackie is.
When they're gonna make Falcon into Black Panther?
He's already
And then all of a
Captain
sudden
America. He's gonna be everything now.
he's gonna be Captain America Panther. Cap,
Maybe it'll be Luke Cage because he's out of a job.
right? He has an accent now. Oh man.
But we were gonna say something before I brought up Chadwick Boseman, and I forgot what the hell.
Oh, we're talking about the kid.
The high school kid. Okay.
Ritter.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I really don't know his name. I really don't.
Here, I'll look it up right now.
It's just interesting. All this shit's been coming out. That's all. I guess that's what the whole point was. Just this ever evolving.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah, this ever evolving year, which is almost over now. By the way.
Yeah.
It's already Christmas in the stores.
Is it?
No, I'm just kidding. But it probably is.
Well,
it's
tomorrow
or
no, today Spirit opened. All the Spirits started opening.
Yeah, see, it's definitely Halloween.
Which is funny because like the kids ain't gonna be trick or treating.
That's what I was gonna say.
year.
Are you gonna take him trick or treat? Are you gonna take Alessandra trick or treating?
I'm down to do it. Maria thinks that people aren't gonna be putting candy out. I think what people are gonna do is just like put their little bench out and then throw the candy up, and then all the ghetto kids from the surrounding neighborhood are just gonna dump the whole bucket of candy into one bag, and there's no candy for anybody else, because that's what usually happens when people put candy out in front of their house, because everybody's.
Are you saying Are you saying I'm ghetto for doing that?
Yes, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
At my age.
At your age, even worse.
Sometimes, hey man, there's some people give you like the really bad cheap candy that you could tell that like they didn't put any effort into it, and some really they buy good candy.
Dude, when I was a kid, if you went to like the rich neighborhood, they would put like full size
exactly out. Full size Butterfingers and stuff. Like, it's no wonder why I have diabetes. Well, I don't have diabetes, but it's probably there somewhere from those candies.
Some people putting out them Godiva chocolates and shit. Fucking $4 chocolate bars.
I've seen the ones, those gold balls, like a 6-pack of those gold balls. You know what I'm talking about? Those like.
Yeah, the Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, which is, I don't know how expensive that is, but that sure as fuck isn't. It's not cheap like a fun size Snicker bar.
Tastes fancy in your mouth, I'll tell you that much.
I didn't really care for them because I don't know. Maybe they're just too expensive.
You don't like nuts?
It's too expensive. You just finish eating and you're like, was this really worth X amount?
Well, unless if you didn't pay for it, it doesn't matter.
That's true. Well, I guess that's true.
I had a Cadbury chocolate bar in Europe versus the ones here.
Don't even know what that is.
So Cadbury's an English brand. Like the Cadbury eggs. You don't know what a Cadbury egg is?
Do I look English to you?
Do you guys celebrate Easter?
Yeah, I know what an egg is. Yeah.
The Cadbury egg, the chocolate egg that had the shit inside of it that was disgusting.
No.
You only see it at Easter time. You never had one of those.
No, I don't know what the fuck.
You never saw the commercials where the fucking bunny is laying chocolate eggs.
No.
What the fuck kind of animal are you, you uncultured swine?
What kind of animal are you watching some fucking English propaganda like that?
It's not English propaganda. They have an American-based company that Hershey
You
subsidizes.
just said it was English.
Yeah, the parent company is English, but everybody knows the Cadbury eggs.
I don't support England.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, Cadbury's like the Hershey of England.
I've had
And they have Cadbury chocolate here, but the difference is the chocolate here they use, it doesn't use real milk in their chocolate. They doesn't use like milk. They use oil instead of milk fat, so that the chocolate tastes different. Well, I forget. Why am I talking to you about food, bro? You have like the fucking like the simp, the most simp type fucking palate.
First of all, that's a terrible usage of the word simp. That's awful.
All right. I'm just saying.
Okay, boomer, fucking don't
You're
even
a
using the fucking the term properly.
You got a cuck palate, bro. All right.
Look, all I'm saying is I've only had those fucking marshmallow things at Easter and regular eggs. And maybe like the overgrown chocolate bunny that has like tinfoil on it that you take apart.
You ask your mom. That she'll fucking school you, okay? I'm sure she stocked plenty of Cadbury bunnies in her day.
Okay, but
Cadbury eggs.
have I had them? I'm gonna look this up right now. I don't even know.
I'm just more pissed off that you never even fucking heard of them.
Let me see. No, what is this? Hell no.
I'm gonna run a fucking poll.
Hell no. Go ahead, run a poll. I've never seen these shits in my life. These look gross. You ate
They are
these?
gross. I'm not saying they're good. They're disgusting.
Ew.
The shit inside of the eggs is nasty, but fucking some people like them. It's fucking awful. But they're like a part of Easter. They have a whole like big ass.
Is this a Puerto Rican thing?
No. It's American as fucking London Bridge.
But did you like have these growing up?
Yeah, people will buy them, and then you'd be like, "Oh, this is gross."
But like, did other Puerto Rican families? Is this why you guys aren't accepted, like in American culture? Because you guys eat this shit?
I guess not. I guess not.
I've never fucking heard of these in my life.
Dude, they used to have the biggest Easter fucking campaign. They had crazy. It was a bunny with fucking with the ears like they put like a bird ears on the bunny or something. So
I really hope the people listening to this also have heard of this stuff. Otherwise, this is the most boring and dumb part of this podcast.
I mean, it's been dumb this whole time. We're 30 minutes in. Like, let's not get it
This
twisted.
looks
Hey,
so
at least we didn't open.
disgusting.
Somebody fucking RZA Hawkeye fucking criticizing us because we opened with a
30-second dick joke about having side effects.
Hand jobs.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was about the other one, about side effects.
Also, we had 2 dick jokes.
Yeah, male enlargement. Like if you took the COVID-19 vaccine and it gave you your dick got bigger as a side effect, would you take the vaccine?
About that. Right. We started with hand jobs, and we ended up
with splatter shields.
Yes, and then that led to vaccines giving you a huge cock.
That's what you get when you listen to us. I don't know what to tell you.
Are you expecting us to grow up? Fuck, man.
I'm just disgusted and appalled by these eggs right now. For reals, I am disgusted.
I'll allow you to be disgusted. I didn't say they were good. I'm just saying.
This looks so disgusting. They're like soft boiled. They're like eggs inside of the egg. This is something that I should eat in person. We should eat these for Easter and do a reaction.
Fucking A. Go. Well, I'm in.
I've never had Cadbury eggs before.
It's got creme.
That's what that is? I thought it was egg. Okay,
No,
I need to get
cream.
off this because I keep looking at these pictures and it's just getting worse. Like there's like Halloween version of it. There's a Halloween version of it with green goo coming out of it.
Yes. Never had that one.
See, there's a caramel one. This one looks good. It's just full of caramel.
That's too much. You were doing your research about Kyle Rittenhouse.
No, I didn't do any research. I just started
went down
reading.
the rabbit hole.
I started reading articles from both sides about him, and right away, it doesn't even matter what the facts are. First off, because it all depends on what fucking side you're reading about. Like, because narratives have already been built. Narratives have already been established. Narratives like he was the man he shot was a pedophile and whatever else and and Kyle was a woman whatever, and like there's videos of him coming out like punching a girl like in some confrontation like previous to the whole thing.
Yeah, like jumping a girl.
Yeah, and so like sucker punching. That's what I was looking for. I
Right.
said punching. I meant to say sucker punching. And like and that's not even just it. It's like then there's the before. Well, he came out there purposely to kill them, and da 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 da. Like all this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth stuff, right? Which is just like everything else that's been going on. It's just everything that happens is just so politicized, back and forth. There's two narratives. It's either you 100% believe one, and if you do, you're 100% against the other side. Like you have to have both of those things be true, otherwise it's just, chaos. So there's no like center of any of this. There's no like I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. If you were to put a gun to my head and ask me like, should he go to jail, or is he a murderer or something like that, whatever these questions are, and I'm like, I don't know, because I'm seeing videos from these protests in Portland since then, where you have the peaceful protesters saying, I'm not going to cry over spilled Nazi blood, or like whatever. They're talking, that's how they're speaking, right? When people die. And that's just, it's the same behavior as those Nazis marching with the candle, like with the tiki torches. You know,
Right.
it's that same type of like behavior in regards to
But
passion and negativity. It's in terms of on that spectrum. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're still on the extreme parts of the spectrum.
but what about those videos of the MAGA supporters plowing through crowds in their trucks? Like,
Okay, I saw that video too, and the same thing when they started pulling out their paintball guns, right? And they started doing like, they started shooting the protesters, and they do pepper sprays. Let me put it to you this way: for every video that you send me about Trump supporters doing bad, I can send you at least one of equal, like where you're just like, wow, I can't even defend this for the people on the left, the peaceful protesters.
mm-hmm.
And I know it sounds like I'm trying to be on the right side of this whole situation, but no, I'm just saying like, hey, liberals, like fucking, I'm not voting this election, but I'm a registered Democrat, and I want to call people on their bullshit on both sides. It's everyone, like, I genuinely believe the reason why the people got shot the other day is because they expected nothing to happen like that, because they've never been in a situation, and they had that power rush. Oh, I'm gonna hit the guy when he's on the ground with the skateboard, and nothing's gonna happen to me, and like, whatever. I don't know what monkey part of their brain activates at that point, you know?
I didn't watch that video, but people described that. Well, people that were there said the dude had already shot somebody, and the guy with the skateboard was trying to get the gun out of his hands.
Even if that's true, and let's say that's 100% true, I won't even defend it. Let's say, okay, that's the narrative. That's what happened, right? My point still stands. That teenager went out there, and he was one of the people who is those, don't fuck with someone like this, because there's certain people out there who don't play the game of like, oh, I'm holding the gun, but I'm really not going to use it. This is America. There's a lot of people out there who will do shit like this, which is why looting needs to stop, which is because looting causes people to want to have that false sense of security of putting people out with guns. The whole message on the left is defund the police right now. And it's like, when I remember first seeing that when these protests first started, like in here in LA, and I saw that sign like defund the LAPD. What the hell? What the hell does that even mean, defund the LAPD? Well, you don't want us to have a police force now? And since then, there's a spectrum on that too, because some literally outright do not want a police force at all. And there's some who say, no, they're just getting too much funding. We need to reduce their funding. But saying, you don't know who you're talking to. That's why one of the big problems with Black Lives Matter, you don't really know what the fuck they want, what Black Lives Matter wants in this situation. It's just like a term, an umbrella that everyone just can like throw themselves under. And it's like, oh, I'm protesting Black Lives Matter. I'm also looting. But you're not allowed to call out the looters. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, you're not allowed to say.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many videos now of like people recording the protesters looting, and then they have like they're like, don't record us, you're endangering people's lives. And it's like, what? You don't want me to record you looting because it's endangering their lives potentially? What the fuck does that even mean? Like, these are videos I've seen where you can quote these people on these things. There's a video that just went, I don't forget where the fuck this was, where like this guy was getting a Trump supporter, blah blah blah, and they started just harassing him. And he didn't shoot him, but he pulled his gun out on him, on all these people, and then the cops came and took the gun away from him. But you watch the left liberal sites clip, and it's just him pulling the gun, and that's how I first watched it, and I was like, oh man, that's fucked up. Like, you can't do that. And then they show the full version that shows the last fucking minute and a half of that clip where he's getting beat up and thrown to the ground.
So I'm gonna come at you with the opposite side of that. What was that guy doing out there in the first place when he knew there was a protest?
No idea. I agree with you on that too. I don't know what because it's how far do you go back, right? Because I could say, well, a minute before that he was getting beaten. And then you could say, well, another video came out that showed 4 minutes before that he was calling everyone the N-word, And then I could say, like, it's 100%, you're right. But people do have the right to protest. I'm not trying to defend.
I'm not trying to defend anybody that's acting out of pocket and destroying property and whatnot. But I guess what I'm kind of going at is like, that there's a protest going down in this part of town. There's going to be a lot of people out there. It could be Russia.
I'm serious. I'm really mean that though.
No, hey, I said when we did one of our first Corona casts that a lot of the violence and things that were happening, I thought that they might be plants. And what do you know? A few months later, you send me an article saying that one of the guys that was starting shit
was a white supremacist.
Was a white supremacist.
The one who originally started the entire fucking thing. That AutoZone that got looted at the very first night after George Floyd, the very first one that started everything was started by a white supremacist. 100% confirmed fact, period. Had nothing to do with fucking Black Lives Matter at all. Does that mean every looter? No. But it's literally primate behavior right there. It's monkey see, monkey do. Oh, this store's burning on fire. There's no cops coming? Well, shit. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Well, it's like whenever any team wins a championship, that city burns.
Yeah.
And it just takes one person. One person's like, "Fuck yeah!"
And then they flip the car, and then whatever.
And then everybody starts getting fucking into it, and like, that rush of adrenaline starts taking over, and people start going nuts, and they start, like you said, they start acting like fucking primates. But that's all it takes. That's why I'm saying, this isn't like absolving people from acting like idiots, but if you got someone out there purposely trying to start shit, it's working.
Race wars, and the funny thing is, I don't even think that guy was like sponsored by Russians. I just think that's like some race war stuff, some classic old school. If we start the race war, then we can actually just legitimately legally kill black people. Not legally, but like whatever the term would be. We could just kill black people outright. We don't have to do anything because it's a war now. Whatever. But then there's genuine cases that we've talked about where Russia was setting up similar things in 2016 with Hillary campaigns rallies right next to Trump campaign rallies, and it's like, it's who fucking knows. All I do know is though, looting does not help. However, I'd be a completely ignorant fool to not be able to take a few steps back and say, well, why are people looting in the first place? Why are there that many people in the streets in the first place? That there's clear it's just a huge level of like unrest amongst the entire country for so many different things, and this is just an outlet now to be angry. Me and one of my friends when this all started, we were like, we just wish that George Floyd didn't get shot and killed, and of course
he didn't get shot
or strangled. See, I get so confused because there's so fucking many of them. But George Floyd didn't get killed regardless. They didn't get killed. He didn't get that knee on the back. He didn't die. There was no viral sensation because people were angry at the government at that point in time. March, April, around that time. Because there was no fucking, no one knew anything. Everyone was mad at the government. And then all of a sudden, another black man dies, and what happens? We fall right back into the same rhetoric that we've been in since I've been alive. I can't say like for you, but the narrative for me growing up in the 90s has always been this. Growing up like Boys in the Hood, those types of films, I remember just being on the posters, and you have NWA and fucking rap, and That conflict has always been there my entire life. And that's the form it's taken, too. Take to the streets. Riots. You know, like, I was born during the riots. Not to say that made me fucking... Not that I knew what was going on, but I was literally born the week of the LA riots. That's when I was born. My mom told me that she had to, like, go through a National Guard checkpoint just to take me home from the hospital because they were stationed on our block. So it's like kids who were born after Columbine. They know nothing but school shootings, right? And, you know, you've heard me say that school shootings I don't think are that big of a deal statistically, but still, it's still a mindset, you know? And I just think that the big issue is people like myself who've never truly been in any sort of physical, like, environment where there's confrontation and with real consequences. It's very easy to just think nothing's going to happen to you, I guess is my point. Like, I would never go to one of these rallies because I would expect something bad to happen, to be honest. And I don't want to be there during some stupid shit like that, you know?
Right.
But some of these people are devoted enough to where they feel like they could do that. They feel like, and, you know, there's just people on the opposite side who feel the same way, who have that same amount of passion. It's just... It's going to be bad when you have both sides coming with guns and then you have literal shootouts, which you're already having right now. That's the fucking crazy part. I don't know if you've seen these videos, but it's real. People are having shootouts right now.
I haven't seen them, no. I stay away from that.
People are having shootouts. Black people are coming up to white people and shooting them and vice versa. Like, just straight up.
I know paleteros are getting attacked for no reason.
There's videos of that too. People just getting angry, overturning their stands. You know, good luck to them if they overturn the wrong one. They overturn that cartel one.
Right. Because better get the fuck off that block as soon as you do it.
Because it'll be game over after that.
Some fucking paisa with a cowboy hat and a gold-plated AK-47.
Because Black Lives Matter ain't going to save you. Blue Lives Matter, none of that's going to save you if you fucking turn over the wrong taco stand that's bringing in, you know, $1 million a week because of Corona, you know. Because, like, everything's expensive.
Cane.
Everything's expensive right now. Even fucking just everything is going up because everything is just hot in demand. So I just don't, anyway. I don't know. I just get a little frustrated because you can't have conversation with anybody just because it's already set up that way. It's just set up for conflict. Like, I don't think any of what I said is really radical or extreme, but I guarantee you, under the right circumstances, with the right ears, I might as well have been saying "Hail Satan," like, whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, I'm
not on social media too, because this is all me projecting in my own head. I'm just making assumptions.
And unfortunately, you know, we don't have that audience, but someone could watch that and definitely, I don't know if they get pissed off, but they could definitely make an argument against what you're saying from a different perspective.
And that's
explain
good.
The reasons why, but that's how it should be. That being said, I just don't. I said it the last podcast. We're sitting on a powder keg, and you know, we've got race wars, we got fucking pandemics and shit. We got fucking the CDC just needs to shut the fuck up
because they keep fucking saying this, and then that, and then we walk this statement back, and like, it's making everyone not fucking trust them.
And let's talk about that. I don't know if you read it, but they released a statement saying that like the majority of people who've died from the pandemic have pre-existing conditions. So which makes people be like, you see, that's why people died. What people are failing to accept is like obesity would be a pre-existing condition, and most of the population here is obese. So you've already got a pre-existing condition. Not just that, but everything's a pre-existing condition. If you get migraine headaches, you have a pre-existing condition.
Which is why it was such a big deal that we eliminated pre-existing conditions from insurance, a few years ago with Obamacare. Because everyone was getting denied left and right. Oh, you got cancer now? Oh, well, you had a headache when you were 12, so you already had of course you were going to get cancer.
Exactly. So it's like, why put that information out? I mean, I mean, if you listen to the last one, we know, most people know where you stand. Well, not really, but you're still. I don't even want to put words in your mouth. I
I
think we're
wear
just
my
all.
mask. I socially distance. Every single time I go outside, I have my mask on. If I'm out in public, my mask is on. 100%. I try my best to socially distance, but sometimes it's just not possible. I'm not going to, and I don't say anything. I try to just walk away from people, but sometimes it's just not possible. I was at the shop last night buying this, and the girl was just right in your face. And I'm like, tried to like, oh, I just want to look over here for a second. And then it just fall, and I was just, just got to go in and out. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how infectious this fucking shit is. I can't see it. I've never had it, so I just assume the worst. But who knows? Maybe it takes. Maybe you have to really be. I don't know. I don't know anyone personally who has it, who's had COVID, like in terms of my social circle, so they can't really tell me like how they got it. I don't know. But anyway, that's where I feel.
I'm just saying, people need to pump the fucking brakes on both sides and just fucking wear your fucking mask.
Like, I don't understand. Honest to God, I really don't understand. And I had this thought the other day that we should do this. At least me, I want to do it. I don't get why Trump, they just didn't get ahead of it and just make America great again masks.
We should have done that.
I'm dead serious. No, for reals. Like, if at the very beginning of all this stuff, they're just like, hey, man, wear your mask. Wear a MAGA one. Just show everyone. And you can go inside a fucking convenience store and you say, fuck you, I'm MAGA. Right here. You have to see it right here. Fuck you. It's a big fuck you. Because what are you going to do? Bitch? That you're wearing a MAGA mask? No. Right. But no one's doing that. And for me, as a liberal, I'm like, I'm not going to get triggered because at least you're wearing a mask. I don't even care. At least you're doing your part. At least we can not argue about that. At least we can not see videos about Karens like, I know my Constitution. We don't need that. That doesn't help anybody. Nobody, it doesn't hurt anybody, it doesn't help anybody. And if you have a real fucking super condition, have other people shop for you. Like, I'm just tired of seeing these videos. At first they were funny. Now it's just annoying. Because clearly, if you want things to stop, you need to just abide by a certain small little things. If you want the world to run smoothly, you shouldn't kill people. You shouldn't steal. Like, there's certain things you agree to just not do, which you could totally do if you want to. Anyone could kill anyone at any given time today if they really wanted to.
I mean, it kind of brings to light how unaware people are with just the Constitution and how the Constitution works, or how
private
American
business
law
works.
And society. Yeah, exactly.
The
like
right to refuse service.
Exactly. Like, people seem to fucking forget about the same people who are like, if the bakery doesn't want to make cakes for a gay couple, they don't have to, are the same ones going into the store saying, fuck you, I'm not wearing my fucking mask. Like,
I know.
Fuck. Why the fuck are you guys so fucking contradictory? What? You guys don't make any fucking sense at all. Don't talk to me about the fucking stock market. I listened to a podcast this weekend. You know why the stock market is doing better? Because 6 fucking stocks, 6 tech stocks are propping everything else up. Everybody else's stock is in the fucking shitter, but 6 fucking stocks are doing so fucking well that it makes the entire market look better than it really is. I might be talking out of my ass, but this is what I heard on the fucking podcast. That, hey, you know what? This market thing, don't fucking believe it, because it's just a few stocks at the very top that are doing so well.
And if you don't own stocks, you don't.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I got a fucking Acorns account, all right? I get fucking $5 deposited every fucking couple of days because they round up my transactions.
Yeah, aren't you a millionaire right now because you won that $5,000 in stocks at Comic-Con one year? Like, you're a millionaire, right?
I'm a fucking millionaire, yeah, because I didn't cash that money out and fucking use it to pay bills.
Which probably went further than it would have if you would have just bought some random ass stock that who knows would have,
I knew nothing about, Had I known better, I would have fucking bought all the fucking Target. Had I known there was a pandemic coming 2 years later, I would have bought $5,000 worth of Target and fucking Home Depot stock.
Yeah, for real.
And Walmart stock and what else,
Yeah, the reality is, if I knew what was what, we would have all bought Bitcoin. I would have put every single dollar I ever had in my entire life in Bitcoin, and I still would have, had like $100,000.
Would have bought Amazon in the late 90s. I would have bought fucking
Apple stock.
Apple when I was, just everything. Who, too late. Too fucking late. I talked to you about it on the phone, but I want to kind of bring up how crazy the internet is. And I'm not going to mention any names here, but someone I went to high school with had, I guess the story goes that somebody left an insult on their Instagram about a tattoo. The guy owns a tattoo shop. And he immediately started fat shaming and not creatively so. And that he fat shamed the wrong person. So that person went back and basically doxed him. And by her doxing him, he everything he's ever posted on social media that was controversial went fucking viral within the black community, and which extends. If you're not familiar with the San Francisco Bay Area, it is definitely a very liberal, very diverse community. So, yeah, people up there got a little more power than they do in other. Disenfranchised people have a little bit more power.
Especially if your business is a brick and mortar and you have to be in person.
Exactly. So the guy has gone from deactivating his Facebook, making his Instagram private. He's getting death threats now. People know where the business is at, and could the city where he's operating actually could come down and fine him as well, because I guess he's been operating when he wasn't supposed to be. Illegally.
Busted.
Yeah, man, and all because you couldn't keep your fucking mouth shut on social media. And I'm not going to say what he said. I'm not going to, it doesn't take that much. If you guys want to look into it, there's definitely some meme pages, Bay Area centric meme pages that will direct you to where you need to go and you can figure it out. But it's just fucking crazy the world we live in. And, I'm not going to, I'm not going to say where I stand on the issue, but just got to watch what you say, I guess.
I mean, here's the thing. It's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, that's the power of the internet. At this point in time, you should know that that's what it is now. That's the world we live in. It's not really going anywhere, because that's just an extension of what we as humans do when we find out something that's outrageous in our own lives. But now people just have a platform to just find other people who feel that way really quickly. So all of a sudden you can mobilize, and 10,000 people may not seem a lot if you're dealing with like Kanye West, Kim Kardashian numbers, but 10,000 is a lot if you're a small or medium-sized business that's brick and mortar.
Right.
And all of a sudden, that's a lot of people to deal with. So on one hand, that's kind of how it should be. That's business. People want to do that. That's what doxing is illegal though, first of all. So that's one thing that should always be noted at doxing. I think there is a legal precedent to doxing. You're not allowed to do it. But on the other hand, it's like...
Well, see, and I don't know if what would happen was actually quote-unquote doxing. It was more like going through somebody's social media and then reposting the stuff that they put in public already.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm using your words, and, whatever. It doesn't matter. My point is, though, you take all of this stuff that I just said, and on one hand, I think it is a good thing that people can do that. I really do think it's a good thing that people have the ability to do that. But at the same time, I'm from the camp of like, just don't support the guy's business. Just don't go. Just tell other people don't go. And that's how you...
Well, don't you think this is kind of what they are doing?
No, because I think sending death threats and all that, like,
that's a different story.
That's not the same thing.
That just means it got into the hands of the wrong people.
Just based on things that, you and I have read with other people that are in the spotlight and things like that. The only issue is there's no, like, real court to, like, decide, well, this is, like, real serious and this is minorly serious. Right. It's like whatever like, wave took this along that made it blow up is how it is now. Like, it doesn't matter if majority of people don't feel that it's that big of a deal or whatever. It's already here now. It's there.
Yeah.
The issue is there's no pulling back from that. That's the big problem. How does he recover from that? Because he doesn't have a defense. He can't say anything. really, or she. I don't know who it is, but
he released a public statement today, or an apology, either today or yesterday, like a public apology.
But people don't. People probably don't care. I would imagine.
Well, yeah, but if you read the apology,
it was a Louis C.K. type. I don't actually. I don't know if it was him or someone. It was kind of like a not the best apology.
It was, hey, I'm sorry that the things I say offend you, and I'm going to do a better job of, not letting everybody know how I feel. That's basically what it kind of read as. I'm going to make my shit private instead.
Which was probably worse than saying anything at all, but who am I to say that? Because that's the other thing, too. You could just not say anything and let shit blow over.
Yeah.
There was this video on Reddit that was just this guy. He was acting like a drunk. I have the video saved somewhere because he literally, the whole point of it's like a 7-minute thing of him being racist, trying to pick fights, whatever, blah, 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 like at this dinner establishment. And then this guy like throws him to the ground and kind of holds him there for the rest of the video. And the guy involved, rich, some legal lawyer, whatever, and he's just been sending like cease and desist letters to the Reddit people. And so his video was getting pulled down, but people just kept putting it up. Like, oh, like I'll still randomly see it as a joke now. Like, don't forget this guy, but they're still getting pulled down. So like, there's people out there who have that money to do that too, to really wipe it off. But I don't know. Just be a good person, I guess.
I think that the difference between that and what I was talking about is once you post it on Facebook or you post it on Instagram or Twitter, you don't have rights to that anymore.
Yeah, that's a better way to look at it. Just don't say anything don't assume it's public or private, excuse me.
Exactly.
And like don't say anything don't say something you'd say with your friends on Facebook if you don't feel like it would be comfortable for the public to hear.
Right.
Really.
Exactly. Especially if you own the business and your fucking name's on the business.
And if you're fat shaming in fucking San Francisco.
Well, you just make sure the person you're fat shaming isn't gonna fucking fuck you up. That's know who you're fucking clapping back at all times, because they may wield more power than you think.
Fat people usually do. I mean, that's why you don't want them to fall on you, bro.
Oh, boy. Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Ring the bell if you